Druk Nyamrup Tshogpa does not have a presence in the parliament. We all know that. But yet, every now and then they issue press releases. I think it is good. But if it is good only if the press releases are well thought out, that they understand the issues, and that what they are raising is in the national interest. If it is just to be seen, to be heard every once in a while, DNT is still alive, I think that motivation is. The problem arises when they don't seem to understand the issue, or worse still, they understand the issue but they really don't care, because they just want to be seen and heard. The timing of it, I'm a little, I wouldn't say concerned, as interested. After BKP announced their new president, Dasho Neten, and the whole country will seem to be talking about Dasho Neten and BKP. It's almost like DNT was desperate to be heard and to be seen as relevant and as intelligent, and so to do something outrageous, which is declare something that is legal as unconstitutional and demand that the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister must step down. I mean, and they succeeded. That's why the newspapers had it in bold in their front pages, and that's why BBS also had a special coverage of it. They got it through. I have tried not to respond, and actually I didn't want to respond because this doesn't merit a response. As far as I know, as far as I can see, this is politics. The same thing happened about a month ago. Remember, with the loans, with the debt, government debt, skyrocketing out of control. And they got the government to reply. And the government replied, and then it was what? Nothing. They're quiet. If they had done their homework, if they understood the fundamentals of the economy, if they understood the structure of the debt, they wouldn't have raised it. They raised it, and then when the government replied, they put another press release, a watered down press release, and that was that. They are desperate to engage with the government. On the matter of central schools a few months ago, they took a picture of Ranse in my own constituency. It's not a government boarding school, it is the picture they took was of informal boarding. And informal boarding is precisely why we are starting central schools. Because our children are building sheds and shacks and living in unacceptable conditions. And some of the primary schools that have government provided boarding facilities also don't have the resources to provide good enough boarding facilities. This is why we're starting central schools. But they took out a press release, sensationalized it. Look at the school in the winter in Ranse, Ha, you know how cold Ha is. Ranse is in the Amochu Valley. It's as warm as Punakha. It's in Ha, but it's as warm as Punakha. But that didn't really merit a response. And I didn't mention that it's as warm as Punakha, because that was not the issue. They were just trying to sensationalize it. But I thought that I had to respond to say that, look, this is the reason we are starting central schools. And you know what? At that time, they celebrated the fact that the PM responded to their press release. I thought it was ridiculous, and it just proved the point that the press release was just for one purpose, and that is to get the government's attention, to get the government to respond so that they can be seen to be relevant. And that is politics of the worst order. Yes, as we approach elections, 6 months before election, maybe 7 months, then let's get into the political mode, yeah? Not now. We have a solid year to go, a year and 1 month. In fact, more than that. Should we start playing politics, the government? Because if we were to be focused only on politics, two things will happen. We have the upper hand. Yeah, but then we would have wasted the last year on politics rather than development. So now to the question at hand. Is this unconstitutional? As far as the government is concerned, the fiscal incentives, providing fiscal incentives is the prerogative of the government, does not have to go to the parliament. That is our interpretation, and therefore the government is allowed to declare fiscal incentives. That was our position. That was also the precedent, because in 2010 the previous government granted fiscal incentives, right? 2011, the constitutional case verdict in 2011 said the imposition of taxes is illegal. It also said imposition of taxes without the parliament's approval is illegal. That same verdict also said that it is the prerogative of the government to decide and declare fiscal incentives. To decide and declare fiscal incentives or propose taxes. It doesn't say it is the prerogative of the government to propose fiscal incentives and to propose taxes. It says to decide and declare fiscal incentives or to propose taxes.